Good afternoon, or evening. My name is Gemma. I'm organizer with Movimiento Cosecha. Movimiento Cosecha has been fighting for immigrant rights in the area since 2017. And today we're here because a lot of families has been separated, and this one in particular, and not just in LA, but it's across the country where ICE separate our families, terrorize our families, and it's heartbreaking that we have to be here with a family that, since they come to this country, they've been doing what immigration asked them to do, and still continue terrorizing. So what happened last Wednesday, GR Rapid Response to ICE and Cosecha received a call from people that were coming to the ISAP ICE office. So ISAP is not it's not ICE, it's not the government, it's a subcontractor, and they are citing people to do their immigration proceedings, whatever they are under. They go and do a checkup, and that's all they do. So we were alerted that they were picking up people from the ISAP office. So we went there and start questioning what was going on. The police was called on us by the ISAP office, and unfortunately, Carlos was detained. So Carlos was asked to come to this ISAP office with his paperwork, so his passport, and a proof of them leaving. They had agreed, actually verbally agreed with the ISAP office to departure this Saturday. So they were already voluntary departure with his family on Saturday, and ISAP called them to show them their documents, their passports, and approve like their tickets, their plane tickets to leave on Saturday. So he complied. Again, this family, and they had been compliant to everything immigration have asked them since the day they came here as refugees in 2017. So Carlos goes to the ISAP office to show the documentation they asked, and he gets detained arbitrarily. The ISAP office has his documentation, and ICE has Carlos. Now, this is a new development. The last week, they were citing people to the ISAP office, and they were taken from there under the understanding they were just going to do their checkups. So it was a trap for community members, for immigrants, to call them up for just a regular checkup, and they were taken and separating for the family. So that's what happened. That's why we're here today, to denounce the arbitrary way of and the complicity with this ISAP office, which is just an office that does paperwork, and complicity with ICE, and complicity with the GRPD, and Jeff can talk more, and GRPD was called on us, and while GRPD was telling us to leave, the alleged ICE agents that were at this office left from a side door, escaping from scrutiny. So this is what happened last Wednesday.
So just to add, I'm Jeff Smith. I'm with a volunteer organizer with GR Rapid Response to ICE, and maybe just add a little bit more to what Gemma said about what happened last Wednesday. We had maybe 25 people show up, people who have gone to one of our trainings to intervene on behalf of folks who are being threatened by ICE. And unfortunately, some people got taken before we were able to arrive, but every person who had come to their appointment after we arrived, they were released eventually because of our presence, and they all came out with us, and we provided them the resources they needed for the future in case anything like this happens. In addition, we now have committed to offering accompaniment to anybody who has appointments in the future so that nobody will have to go to this office unaccompanied, so that it minimizes the possibility that they might get taken. Since this is not only a tactic they're using here, this is a tactic the administration is using across the country. And in regards to Carlos being in detention, and because he had a voluntary departure, we have created an action alert, and we will share that URL with you at the end of the press conference. That it has 3 demands. First, that he be released before Saturday, because they have tickets already purchased to go back to El Salvador, their home country. That's demand 1. Demand 2 is that his passport gets returned to him, so that he has his passport back so he can, when he re-enters El Salvador. And 3, that the ICE or the administration will not have a status on him saying that he left as a deportee, but he left under voluntary departure. So, because if he gets listed as somebody leaving of deportation, that will impact his ability to move about for the rest of his life. So those are the 3 demands we're asking, and these are demands we're sending to the ICE office in Detroit, and we're sending it to both Senators Peters and Slotkin and Congresswoman Hillary Scholten, since she represents this district, the 3rd District of Michigan.
So today we announcing that we're placing Carlos's family in sanctuary here at Fountain Street Church to protect them from deportation, because they have done what the migration system had asked of them, and they were voluntarily departing on Saturday, and now they can't because they don't have their passports. And this is just injustice, and this is just a family, but there's, like I said, across the country, that's what has been happening, and is arbitrary, is not just, and terrorizing and separating families. This is just want to show, what harm can these people do to our community. So we're going to continue advocating. We have set up a rally for June 17th at the Carter Plaza at 6 o'clock, and they will continue advocating, and we're gonna ask people to come in a nonviolent way to stand up and keep our families safe.
And then one last thing that we're asking for is, because of the trauma that families are experiencing because of family separation, we're asking the faith communities in this city to step up, to model behavior, what Fountain Street Church has done by offering a safe haven sanctuary for folks who are fleeing the violence that ICE is inflicting upon them. We're asking that they model that behavior, and also we invite them to be a part of the sanctuary movement this year and for as long as it's necessary. So it's an important thing. Grand Rapids is quite often referred to, besides the beer city, they're also referred to as a city of churches. So I think there's roughly 800 churches, and so we would invite as many as those churches who would love to be a part of this effort, because we believe it's their responsibility just as it is our responsibility to do the organizing that we do.
Yes. So we want clearly to be the Carlos release immediately, so he can be with his family and they can continue on with their lives. This is not a just way, because there was an agreement with the ISAP office that they will a voluntary departure, and this is caught in everything that they were setting up for just a few days. by detaining someone and they have a reason to detain. Yes, questions?
Yeah, people have questions. Does Carlos have legal representation right now?
I believe so. Hay un lawyer, ¿verdad? Que tiene un lawyer. Richard? Yeah.
Sí.
Sí,
Yep.
yes,
Have they been able to communicate with him? Has she spoken to him?
yes.
Yep. Any other questions from press? Yes.
We use the passports, so they have the entire family's passports, not just his. So that's why they can't.
Correct.
Okay.
They couldn't leave either, so.
So even if he is released from prison, there's still the issue of not having passports to leave on Saturday.
Right, which is, and they have them, so we're saying that's why the demand is to release them, give them back the passports, and change the status to voluntary departure, not deportation.
Basically undo everything they did. Go ahead.
And, I saw in the email release that we got, he's currently being held in the Calhoun County Jail in Battle Creek.
Yes, that's correct.
Does he have a deportation order right now, or
Yes,
they do have? a
they do.
deportation order?
Yes, they do.
Have they, said that there's going to be any kind of hearing?
If you have a deportation order, you don't get hearings, so,
Have there, has any, has like the ACLU filed an injunction to temporarily halt the deportation?
at this point, the only thing we can really do is apply public pressure. There's no real legal means to sort of intervene on their behalf at this point, right? And especially since it's urgent, because if he's not released by the end of the day on Friday, they'll miss their ability to fly back because they've already spent the money and purchased tickets for El Salvador, so.
Did they just start staying here today, or if they, from last Wednesday to today, were they just at home and now they're sanctuary here?
We don't disclose that.
Yeah.
So we're asking the senators, the U.S. senators and the U.S. Congresswoman to take matters in their hands because of their family, because they're in their districts. So there is no other legal way if our representatives can take action with their authority as U.S. Senates and U.S. Congress.
The children were born here, they're US citizens.
Two other children are.
And you guys said alleged ICE agents last Wednesday. Can you just talk about, like, if you weren't able to confirm that, maybe just even more broadly about what it's like right now with not always knowing or having identification from enforcement agents in the community?
Yeah, so what we witnessed last week, which is what other cities have been seeing as well, is that the folks so we had the ability to be able to film folks being taken initially before all of us had arrived. And those folks they were all wearing sort of very similar clothing. They were just wearing t-shirts and baseball caps, and they had like black COVID masks over their faces. Put them in their car and then just left. Two other folks who were dressed the exact same way, who were in the sort of the back area of the ESAP office, when the GRPD had kicked us all out of the building because we were questioning what was happening to folks. These two guys sort of snuck out the side door, but eventually we spotted them, and then we followed them until they got to their car, and gave them an earful, and then they left, and they didn't say a word. Same way dressed, same clothing, black COVID masks and whatnot. And this is a pattern that's happening all across the country where whether or not, so we don't know if they're actually ICE agents, officially ICE agents, or they're been privatized or some other contracted entities that are working with the Trump administration to inflict this kind of violence on immigrant families across the country. So, because they're not big on the idea of transparency, so they don't want to tell us, and they don't want to show us, demonstrate that they have ICE badges or anything. and they certainly don't want to tell us.
In addition to that, their cars are unmarked. They seem that they were escaping from scrutiny when we were there, since the GRPD was in front of us, telling us, oh, you can't be here or go into the sidewalk, while they were sneaking out of the side door of this building. And that's when, we followed them and asked them who they were. So this is a kidnapping style type of action, and what they did to the family is that they had already an agreement with the immigration system of voluntary departure. Now, that all changed with his detention and with this deportation orders. It changed the whole, the sneakiness of how it happened, and not upholding what the agreement was between the immigration system to the family. They follow what they told them to do.
Can you talk about that? I know this is the family, just who in relation they are, who's here today?
Yes, this is Carlos's family, wife and 3 kids.
Does Carlos have any medical conditions?
Just press. We're just responding to questions from press. Okay.
The sanctuary at the church, the current policy advice is that they can do enforcement actions in churches. I mean, that's what this administration has said. What are your thoughts on, maybe your thoughts or any of your thoughts on this place as a sanctuary, given that this administration has said that it's fine for ICE agents to conduct raids inside churches now?
Yeah. You want to respond, Nathan?
Yeah, so sanctuary is it's a spiritual practice, and it always has been. It is something that I think that all people who are ethical and who are moral understand has been part of the history of the church since its very beginning. And so, because this is a church that has a bounden duty to stand up against cruelty and against the government or anybody else who tries to pull families apart and kidnap people out of the community, our understanding of our responsibility is pretty clear. So this movement is older than their policies and procedures. I like to think that many of those agents are men and women of faith, and I hope that they consider that. But I think that churches know what they're supposed to do.
What does that mean what's the policy here? If ICE agents show up at the door, can you prevent them from coming in?
This is private property. We would expect law enforcement to provide a warrant if they were coming to a church to execute an arrest or something like that, signed by a judge, just as you or I or anyone would at our home. We're aware that governments throughout history have decided at different times to set aside the rule of law. And speaking just personally, something is very broken and very wrong in this country. There's a spiritual sickness in this country. But it is the church's responsibility to remain steadfast and faithful and do the right thing.
Yeah, and Dustin, I would just add that in terms of the role that GR Rapid Response to ICE plays, is that our function primarily is to directly intervene when ICE is attempting to separate families. So we do it by means of nonviolence, using nonviolent tactics, but that means there are those of us who have gone through trainings are willing to get arrested if need be, if it means we can get people to safety who are being targeted. So, because for us, the question of whether or not the Trump administration has legal authority, constitutional authority, whatever, to do this kind of stuff, we don't really care about that. We care about the rights and humanity of people, and we follow higher principles than what laws any government might pass. And so we think it's fundamentally unjust and cruel to separate families, and we're willing to go to jail for that.
And to your point, Dustin, I want to commend the bravery of this family. They are here in public denouncing what's happening to them. It is going across the country, and you know the system wants us to hide, and that's why they're terrorizing. But this family is brave here to say, we did everything they asked us to do, and still they didn't uphold the agreement. The government didn't uphold the agreement. We were here, and they're still here, denouncing that, you know, they don't have any moral or even lawfully way of doing this for them. So we're asking the public to see what's happening. This is the faces. They are brave enough to show and say, we're here, and we'll, you know, even though they did everything they were asked to, they're still been separated. This is it's a structural violence. This is it's a way of putting people in fear, so that we continue being oppressed. So, and it's not right.
Was Carlos the only one arrested last Wednesday, or
No.
how many others were there? Do you remember?
We're not really 100% sure, because again, they're not really good about telling folks whatever. We believe it was between 8 and 10 people that were taken, but so we don't have an exact number. That's what we know.
Yeah, and to the point, after we showed up, the alleged agents never came back. And the other, that there were 3 earlier picking up people, and then 2 that remained there that sneaked out when we got there.
Are you continuing to monitor this office and their activities?
Yes, we have people who have signed up, so we get alerted the immigrant community that if they want anybody to accompany them to their appointments, that we will do that, and we've been doing that ever since last Thursday. We had people there today. There were several days that people had appointments, and we provided accompaniment for them. And the ICE office was closed actually last Thursday, last Friday, this past Monday, and this past Tuesday, because we believe that because they didn't want to deal with our community intervention to keep families safe. They only started opening up today to do that, but we will continue to be there with people to make sure that we can minimize the possibility that ICE will take any folks in the future who come to their appointment as requested by ICE.
I don't know if they can share, or if you can share in just the last week, what has that been like for them? I mean, I know you're talking about how this is incredibly brave for them to be here. Just talk a little bit about the emotion behind this. They're now a family member who's not with them. I don't know if they can or you can or anything.
Well, I can't speak for them, but I can tell you what I witnessed, that when someone put in contact with us, is like so thankful that someone came to help them, because they were without the and this is systemic, and the person that holds, you know, there's the provider, and that holds the responsibility of their well-being was gone. So it leaves the family vulnerable, and how navigate things. So they were thankful that we were there, and then we were thankful that we knew about them and be able to intervene. This is a shameful day for, and all that's happening for our country. It it shouldn't happen.
And we're asking folks if they want to help us pressure Senators and Congresswoman Slotkin to, they can just go to the Rapid Response, GR Rapid Response, or the Movimiento Cosecha Facebook pages to get access to the action alert that will allow them to send messages to all three of those elected officials, as well as it'll send the same message to the ICE office in Detroit with those three clear demands.
There is also fundraising going on for the family. And again, you refer to the same pages that we're going to post how people can support also economically, because they might, they need help financially.
Any other press questions? No? Yes, no?
The family doesn't want to speak tonight.
I can ask them, but I don't think so. ¿Quieres decir algo? No, no, no voy a poder hablar. She's very emotional and think they won't be able to speak. Está bien. No sé.
Well, if there are any other questions, we appreciate you coming.